Welcome to the Full Life Coaching Podcast. I'm Zach Imboden. Let me start by asking a question. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you were doing everything you were supposed to do, working hard, showing up, trying your best, but kept feeling unfulfilled. Maybe it's in your relationship with God and times you felt God has been distant for you, or maybe it's been more like your relationship with God has been a checklist more than actually developing a friendship with Him. Or maybe it's in your marriage. How hard you're working, you feel like you're just in a rough patch. Or you're struggling to figure out your life's purpose or just where you fit in this world. If that resonates with you, I get it. I've been there. And that's why I have started this podcast and here in my coaching business, Full Life Coaching, because we focus in these 4 areas. In your spiritual life, helping you develop your connection and deepen your relationship with God. In your marriage, building relationships that thrive, not just survive. And third, our strengths, helping you discover and develop how God has uniquely designed you. And in your personal development, helping you be the healthiest and best version of yourself. In every episode, we'll explore practical ways to help you grow in these areas with real life stories, reflection moments, and tools to help you take your next step. So wherever you are, driving to work, taking a walk, or just catching a quiet moment, I invite you even now to slow down, take a deep breath as we talk and explore what does it mean to have full life. And so we start with our spiritual life. I think for me, even back about 10 years ago, I was serving as a pastor in a church. I was doing all the right things, praying, reading scripture, leading groups, leading other people, but I still felt this disconnect from God. It was frustrating. I thought, why don't I feel closer to Him? Started meeting with a spiritual director who helped me to slow down, to listen to God differently. And instead of trying to fix my faith or fix my relationship with God, I learned how to notice where God was already at work in my life. The spiritual directors would introduce me to some new spiritual practices that weren't just about checking off a list or gaining more knowledge with God, that were actually helping me experience intimacy and friendship with God. And it changed everything for me. And that's why I became a certified spiritual director. And you might ask, well, what is spiritual direction and what is this? And I would say it this way, spiritual direction isn't about someone telling you what to do, but it's about having a trusted companion who helps you pay attention to God's voice in your life, helps you notice where God might be stirring in your heart, helps you discern where and how God might be leading you in your life. If you've ever felt spiritually stuck, spiritual direction allows you to helps you deepen your connection with God. It's maybe helping you move beyond routine and into a relationship with Him, or it helps you navigate spiritual walls, helps you understand why your faith might feel spiritually stagnant and maybe how to move forward. Helps you gain clarity, identify where God's at work, helps you identify, navigate life's transitions and walk through life with a sense of wisdom and peace. Discernment and decisions, learning to hear God's voice in every day. And that's why on this podcast, every month, I'm going to share a simple spiritual practice with you that we can do together. Something that will help you slow down and have a meaningful connection with God right in the middle of your day. So let me ask you, when was the last time you feel like you heard from God instead of you just talking to Him? Or maybe where do you see God at work in your life recently? And what is He doing in your life? Spiritual direction can help you see what God might be doing in your life. Second part of my full life coaching is in our marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, but let's be honest, it could also be hard. And my wife and I, we've had numerous seasons where we felt disconnected. Not because we didn't love each other or weren't committed to each other, but maybe we just weren't communicating well. Or maybe life just got really busy or the stress of life just built up. And before we knew it, our marriage was more on cruise control than actually us really connecting with one another. Does that sound familiar to anyone listening? We've had people in our lives, mentors, friends, and other couples who have helped us. They've listened, they've encouraged, and they gave us some tools to help navigate some of our marriage challenges. And as a certified marriage coach, I really do believe that every couple can benefit from intentional conversations that bring clarity and connection. Again, that's why throughout the year on this podcast, my wife and I will have honest and vulnerable conversations about our marriage, the challenges we have faced, and the lessons that we have learned, and some of the tools that have helped us grow. We are not perfect by any means, and we're still learning. But our hope is to encourage you and to equip you with practical ways to strengthen your own marriage. Because no matter where you are in your journey, your marriage is worth investing in. And thriving together is possible. I mean, just reflect on your own marriage, or maybe a significant relationship that you're involved in right now. Are you and your spouse truly listening to each other? When was the last time you had a real meaningful conversation? If things are feeling off, you're not alone. And that's the good news. And there's always a way forward. So marriage coaching could be a helpful tool to help your marriage move from just surviving to thriving. The third part of the full life coaching is in the area of strengths. And a few years ago, I was searching for a way to better understand myself. I tried different personality tests. I did the DISC and Enneagram and many others, but none of them gave me the clarity that I was looking for. Then I took the Clifton Strength Finder assessment, and everything clicked for me. The assessment just didn't tell me what I do, but it also told me why I do it. It gave me language for how I think, how I process, how I make decisions, and how I build relationships. It showed me that instead of focusing on my weaknesses and fixing those, that I need to lean into my God-given strength. And when I started to do that, everything changed. And that's why I leaned in to become a certified strength coach, because I want to help you see that you were designed on purpose and for a purpose. And so throughout this podcast over this next year, I'll dedicate episodes to helping explore how you can discover and develop and apply your strengths in everyday life, in your personal growth, your marriage, your family, your friendships, and work. And I believe that when we understand and when we lean into our strengths, that we will have a greater capacity to live on purpose, to build deeper relationships and make a meaningful impact in the world around us. So what are things you're naturally good at? What are your strengths? Do you know? Where do you feel most energized and most effective? And if you don't know, that's okay. But here's the truth. You were created uniquely, and your strengths matter. And so taking the assessment, the Clifton Strength, and then finding some coaching to help you discover and develop those strengths could be a meaningful experience for you. And last part of my coaching business is our personal growth. Man, for a long time, I believe that my value came from my hustle. The harder I worked, the more valuable I was. Then I hit the wall. Burnout, exhaustion, stress. Another podcast for another time I'll share in the future. And I realized that personal growth isn't about just doing more and accomplishing more. It's about living with better intentions. It's about taking care of my soul, creating rhythms of rest, and learning how to show up fully in my life. And as a certified life coach, that's why in this podcast, again, I'll dedicate episodes to conversations with expert leaders, coaches, mentors, counselors who can help us explore what it truly means to care for ourselves, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. We'll dive into practical ways to cultivate healthy rhythms of life, avoiding burnout, staying grounded in what matters, and growing ourselves as well. But beyond self-care, We'll also talk about how to intentionally pursue the full life we long for. One that's rich with purpose, deeper relationships, and clarity in our calling. Whether it's developing better habits, strengthening our mindset, or making a space for what nourishes our souls. These conversations will help align our lives with who God created us to be. Because living a full life isn't about doing more. It's about living with greater intention and experiencing the depth and the joy and the peace and the fulfillment that God has for us. That's why, as a life coach, I want to help people break free from burnout and step into the life that's whole that God has called for them. So are you? Are you living with intention, or are you just running on autopilot? Are you running with intention, or are you just drifting through life? What's one small step can you take towards a healthier, fuller life? So as we recap this first episode, man, spiritual life, it's slowing down and listening to God. And learning how to listen to God. And in our marriage, it's investing in real, meaningful connections and strengths. It's helping you discover what makes you uniquely you, and personal growth. It's living with intent, not exhaustion. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these areas do you feel like is a focus for you right now? What would be helpful for you? Hey, here's some next steps that would be helpful for you and for us to grow. Man, if you could subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss future episodes, we'd love to have you part of our team. Share this episode with a friend because we can all grow better together. Or third, visit fulllifeforyou.com to learn more about coaching and spiritual direction and other resources we have to help you on your journey. I'm so grateful you joined me today. And remember, you were made more than just to survive. You were made to experience